I believe this question was on one of your quizzes. So if you're seeing this video before you take the quiz, heads up, this might be on your quiz. So we've got a graph. It's a solubility graph. There are two compounds on this graph, and this is just because we often see more than one compound on a graph. So that means just pay attention to which compound it's talking about as we go down to the questions below. And so on this graph, the first question is, a solution is prepared by adding 60 grams of KNO3 to 100 grams of water at 20 degrees Celsius. Is the solution saturated, unsaturated, or supersaturated? All right, couple things to note. I am looking per 100 grams of water, which is good because that is exactly the units of the graph. There's no conversions necessary. I'm looking at 20 degrees Celsius for the temperature. So I come down here to temperature. I go to 20 degrees. I'm looking at KNO3. And so KNO3 is this line right here. And so at 20 degrees, you'll notice I can zoom because I'm on my computer. You may just have to look real close. 20 degrees for KNO3, the solution becomes saturated. That's where the line is. It becomes saturated when I have just a smidge over 55 grams in 100 grams of water. So at 20 degrees Celsius, approximately 55 grams, maybe just a little bit more of KNO3 will completely dissolve in 100 grams of water. That's how I read that graph. So the question is, I'm going to dump in 60 grams of KNO3. So how do I label that solution? Do I label it saturated, unsaturated, or supersaturated? Well, under normal circumstances with no tricks, if I dump in 60 grams, knowing that the solubility is 55 grams per 100 grams of water, then about 55 of those 60 grams will dissolve. May have to stir it up, may have to wait a minute, but the rest of that KNO3, the remaining approximately 5 grams, will fall to the bottom of the container, and that solution will be saturated. That is how we define a saturated solution. The solution is holding as much as it can in terms of solubility at that temperature, and any remaining solid that we try to add falls to the bottom because it's saturated. It can't hold anymore. So this first question, the solution is saturated at that temperature.